Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the MMAcorner.com presents the post-fight video recap. Tonight, we are going to break down UFC 170, Rousey versus McMann, and I got to be honest, what a night it was. But before we get into all of the action, tonight's episode is brought to you by Battle Bomb, the only pain reliever with knockout power. Battle Bomb, guys. I use this product. I know half my staff uses the product. A lot of fighters we work with use the product. Excellent stuff. Check them out. www.battlebomb.com. Audio for tonight's episode is brought to you by Soul. Power, performance, clarity, and comfortability. Definitely check them out. They are the best in the business. All right, let me bring in my panel, as always. Featured columnists at the MMAcorner.com, Jason Schielke and Justin Fuller. Wow, I didn't see that one coming. All right, before I start rambling, Justin, give us your thoughts on the card.
I think it pretty much played out the way I would have hoped it could have. Best case scenario, you know, we got 4 finishes in the main event, so I'm really, proud of that. Not that I have anything to be proud of, like I contributed, but I feel good as an MMA journalist and a fan that we got some finishes, so no finish February is over. But I think we rated it a B- beforehand, and I'll upgrade it to B+.
Jason, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad no finish February is over. The prelims weren't looking all that promising, but once we finally got to that main card, it delivered a lot more than I thought it would. So yeah, I'm all about upgrading. We'll go B+1/2 maybe.
Yeah, I'll give the card a solid B, but if I'm being honest, the one thing that stood out to me the most tonight was Herb Dean. I mean, I don't know what's going on in that guy's head, but he has been off of his game for a while. In fact, when we were breaking down Renan Barão versus Uriah Faber, again, we were talking about what a terrible job he did that night. I don't know what's going on with Herb because, for a while he was one of the best in the business, but now he's back to either just not even paying attention to the fight or premature ejac Herb, which I don't know what to say, but he needs to do something. He needs to get back in his game because his officiating tonight was just flat out horrible. Other than that, though, I did think the card was solid. Like you guys, I'll give it a solid B, but it is nice to see some finishes. It really is nice to get back to having some finishes because, again, last weekend, as Rob pointed out, over the past 2 cards prior to tonight, out of the 24 fights, there were, I think 20 decisions. So it's certainly nice to get back to seeing some finishes. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. UFC 170, Rousey versus McMann, main card. It started off solid. You had Stephen Thompson against Robert Whittaker. It was pretty much, what we had, or at least what I had thought going into the fight. It's what I predicted on Thursday night if you caught the show. But I did the one thing I didn't think is how easily Stephen was going to be able to finish him. I love Whittaker. I think he's a tough dude, and for Stephen to basically beat the crap out of him like he did just shows the kind of competitor that he is. Justin, give us your thoughts. Jason, follow him up.
I wasn't expecting a whole lot, except that I wanted to see, how good these guys could be, and I thought this was the perfect opponent for each of them. But man, Thompson looks so good. I mean, he made Whittaker look like a tough prospect, not a tough winner. So I'm just so stoked to see what he's going to do in the future. And I did say the winner of this bout, he's going to be taking on a ranked guy after this. And, we'll see him make waves in the future. And if as good as Thompson looked, yeah, I can't. He's my wow fighter of the night.
Yeah, I think that his striking was really, really impressive. And, from coming from a kickboxing background and transitioning over to MMA at his age, and he's only, that was his 10th MMA fight at 31?
Yep.
And he was looking, damn. That's all I can say about his striking, just damn. He was just on point. It was awesome. It's a beautiful display of striking. And, yeah, he totally made definitely made Whittaker just look like someone that, didn't even, you said, tough alum, someone that didn't even deserve to be on there. And he just made short work of him, destroyed him. It was beautiful.
Well, and there's a reason why that they call him Wonder Boy, because he is vicious. I mean, there's no question that 9 times out of 10, when he steps into that octagon, he is going to be the superior striker. His striking is excellent. His precision is excellent. His angles that he takes to set up his punches are excellent. the big key to this kid's career, and I think Matt Brown exposed this, is his ground game. You know, what's he going to do against the elite grapplers, the people that can get their hands on him and take him down? I know that he does have some submissions in his pocket, but I want to see what the evolution of his true MMA game is, because if he gets any kind of ground game, or if he can just learn how to Chuck Liddell stuff takedowns, then this guy is going to be vicious and certainly going to be the real deal. Now, with all of that being said, who knows? You know, he could just wind up being a one-trick pony. I don't think so. I think this kid's got a solid future in front of him, and I do. I want to see him face a top 10 opponent. I want to see him get a quality opponent, and let's start building this guy and see if he can be a future champion someday. Excellent fight, though. Excellent finish for Stephen Thompson, and you know, kudos to him. As far as Whitaker goes, you know, we'll have to see. I'm sure the kid's going to bounce back. He's definitely a tough dude. Second fight of the card, Mike Pyle versus T.J. Wahlberger. Excellent fight. You know, it really was a good fight. Obviously, T.J. hung in there. He put on a good show. But again, like I said on Thursday night's episode, I really thought that Pyle's overall age, maturity, experience was going to be the deciding factor in this fight, and I really think it was. He was just overall the more experienced fighter and was able to use it in every aspect of this game. Jason, give us your thoughts. Justin, follow him up.
You know, I have to disagree with you on this one, because I honestly think that it was the glorious mullet of Mike Pyle that just had Wahlberger just completely mesmerized. And so, yeah, I no, but all kidding aside, I think Mike Pyle, he showed how good of a veteran he is, how wily he is. He showed his experience in there, and he was just too much. And I mean, his ground game was, you know, just awesome. That his ground and pound was vicious. It was just a really good performance from someone who's probably a gatekeeper in the division, but it was very, very solid. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I think with Pyle, I think we all called him winning this one. And like I said, I mean, he's getting up there, and guys don't look old till they look old. He didn't look like an old fighter. He didn't look like a young fighter. He looked like a good fighter, a smart fighter. And he gets my oh shit moment of the night. When he caught that kick and threw that spinning elbow, I knew it. It was a matter of time till he finished that fight. And that was my oh shit moment. I'm sitting there, I just was like, oh shit. That was the one that got me that night.
Well, there you have it. But no, Mike Pyle is getting up there in years. He's 38 years old, and you know, Dana White has said it just like you did, Justin. You don't look old until one night you show up and you just don't have it anymore. Well, tonight he had it. Tonight he looked excellent. Tonight he looked like he was a true competitor and that he could compete with the best in the division. So I do want to see Mike Pyle back. I certainly think that he's a solid competitor, and you know, even at 38. Love to see what he can do moving forward. But again, it was a solid fight, and nothing against TJ, because he brought it. He did everything he could. But sometimes you just are facing better competition, and sometimes, you know, guys are just better than you. And tonight that was his situation. He ran into a guy who was just better than him. But TJ will be back again. He's 25, and while he does have 25 fights under his belt, he's still very young and still has a lot of growing to do, a lot of maturing to do. Moving right along, though, Demian Maia versus Rory McDonald. Now, again, if you got the preview show, this is the fight that I said I was the most excited for. I really thought, looking at this card from top to bottom, this was the fight that offered the most potential for fireworks. And before I break it down, I will say this. I thought it was an exciting fight. Justin, give us your thoughts first. Jason, follow him up.
Yeah, this is fight of the night all over it. I mean, I think Pyle should get one of the performance of the night bonuses now that they don't do knockout or submission. But this is fight of the night. And what's crazy is it was the only fight to go with the decision on the main card, but it was the most exciting, and it was the most unpredictable going into it, too. There was really no way to know how this was going to turn out. And, man, when Maia got him in that first round and he landed something like 60 to 8 strikes and he just controlled him, I was like, this is it. This is the fight. We're going to see this for 2 more rounds. And then McDonald came back in that second round, and that was lopsided. It all came down to that third round, and I thought it was still pretty competitive up until about that last 90 seconds. And then, you know, I think McDonald locked it in. You know, even though I wanted Maia to win, the judges made the right call. It just seems like there's never a bullshit decision for the guy I want to win.
You know, whenever we previewed this, I thought this was going to be a boom-bust fight. Either it was going to be very entertaining or it was going to be really, really boring. And I'm glad that it was really entertaining. You know, whenever Maia got that mount in the first round and was just tooling him on the ground, I was like, that's it. It's over. It's done for. And then, you know, McDonald showed what he really had. He came out with that fire that we hadn't seen in a while, and he took the fight to Maia. And then towards that third round, you saw Maia just diving in for those desperate takedown attempts, and you knew that he was just broken at that point. Well, a combination of broken and probably gassed too, because you don't go in for those sloppy half-ass shots like that if you're trying to win a fight. That was a man just trying to survive. And so tip my hat to both the guys to put on a hell of a show, but McDonald definitely proved he was the better man, and he deserves to be moved up in the division. Now, with that being said, he can't hang with Lawler or Hendricks. I'm just going to say that right now. He's not at that level. But he looked good against Maia. But no, he's not ready for that. Before people start getting on that train.
Well, before I break the fight down, I have to disagree with you. He can hang with Lawler. In fact, he did. He, lost a decision to him, whatever, but he was in that fight. He had every opportunity to win that fight. So he's already proven that he certainly can hang with Lawler. As far as Hendricks goes, we haven't seen that fight yet, but again, I certainly think he not only can hang with him, but he can win that fight. All right, let's get into this fight with Demian Maia. It was an excellent fight, and I don't know. I go back and forth. The first round easily could have been a 10-8 round, and so if that's the case, then you easily could have scored this fight a draw. I do think Rory won it. I scored the first round 10-9 for Maia, and then obviously the next 2 rounds for Rory. But Maia looked good in that first round. The problem with him, and he has shown this in the past, is he tends to gas in those later rounds. He did it against John Fitch as well. He was just still the better overall grappler and was able to dictate how the fight went. But in the latter rounds, he has shown that he's not had the gas tank to compete with the elite fighters in his weight classes, and I think that was the thing tonight. Again, after everything he did in the first round, he wasn't able to follow anything up in the second round. He got to take down in the third round, but again, he was so tired he was not able to do anything with it. So I do think it was a great win for Rory, but if you follow me on Twitter, I was saying the whole fight that he needed to get the finish. He had every opportunity, because again, Maia was gassed. He was going in for lazy takedowns. Rory had every opportunity to finish that fight, and he didn't get it done. Old school Rory, the Rory that beat the crap out of Little Diaz. That guy would have finished this fight. I don't know what's going on in Rory's head. He said the animal's back, whatever. I didn't see the killer instinct tonight. I think he blew the opportunity to solidify himself as a title contender. I'm probably Rory's biggest supporter on our whole staff, and I will say this. Coming off of tonight's fight, am I going to say that the kid deserves a title shot? Probably not. He needed to finish that fight. He didn't get it done. There are other guys out there that will pose matchup problems for both Johnny or Robbie Lawler. And right now, I think Carlos Condit, if he gets a victory in his next fight, he's probably the most worthy title contender out there. So we'll have to see how it goes. But again, kudos to kudos to Rory, kudos to Demian. Great fight tonight, guys. And I have to agree with Justin. I do think that was the fight of the night. Problem is, guys, I don't give out those bonuses, so you'll have to ask Dana. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. What they told us was the co-main event: Daniel Cormier versus Patrick Cummins. I mean, honestly. Seriously. I said on Thursday night that I thought this was going to be a one-sided ass whooping, and that's what it was. It was a one-sided beatdown. Cormier came out, beat the crap out of him, whooped his ass, and that was the end of the night. I will give Patrick credit for taking this fight on 10 days and getting in there and taking the ass whooping and collecting his paycheck. And hopefully, truthfully, the UFC gives him another shot and we can actually see if this guy's a real fighter or not. As far as Cormier goes, I think it was a great victory for him. Good way to start the light heavyweight campaign, but I'm not going to say that he deserves to be in there with John Jones, because, is he doing that against John Jones? I don't think so. Can he do that same thing against someone like Glover Teixeira or Demal or Alexander Gustafsson? I don't think so. I need to see more from Daniel at this way to truly see what he has. But great win for him. Jason, give us your thoughts.
There's not much to really think about. You guys ass whooped, and it was what we all thought was going to happen. I mean, Daniel went in there and just mauled him. I mean, well, what else is there to say? I mean, he kicked his ass. I mean, there's no way of sugarcoating it. It's like, how many ways can you shine up a turd? No matter how much you polish it, it's still a turd. He got his ass whooped. But something from one of our Twitter followers in London that is staying up 5 a.m. to watch us, Radiocast, he said 2 minutes of DC is better than 0 minutes. Did that fight even last 2 minutes?
I don't know. I don't think you did. But first off, thank you for staying up. We appreciate it. I think that's kind of pimp. So shout out to you. Definitely make sure that everyone follows this cat on Twitter. But no, it didn't last that long. But I will agree with him. 2 minutes is better than no minutes. Yeah. Justin, give us your thoughts.
The one thing I said was, Patrick just needs to have one moment, and I don't know if he's going to or not. But literally right before the fight, when they're replaying the hype video, it angered me. I'm like, man, just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? I felt like I was getting sold snake oil, right? And then I was like, man, not only do I think Cormier is going to smash him in the first minute, but I want him to. Like, I want him to just smash this guy and prove to the world that the UFC had no business putting this fight as a co-main event and trying to sell it as anything other than what it was. Just a tune-up match, essentially, and a last-minute replacement. My one criticism is on Cormier. All right, yeah, there was a lot of trash talk, and the guy kind of hyped his way into this fight, but you smashed him, and you could have just ended it there. I saw this coming. It's like Cummins talked his way into a fight, into the biggest fight of his life, and he didn't have to go campaign for this fight. You could have had 0 opponents. You could have not got your 6-figure purse. So at least be a little thankful for the fact that the guy cut weight, got in there in the cage with you, and allowed you to get a payday. That was just my one criticism on Cormier. But nothing on his performance. He did what he should have done, and we'll see if he can do that against someone like Davis or Evans. I don't think he can. I'm not saying he can't beat those guys, but he can't do that.
Well, and I have to agree with you about the one knock on Cormier, because the fact of the matter is, if Cummins didn't step up and take this fight, the UFC wasn't going to give Cormier another fight. They had already actually stated that they were going to scrap it and pull him from the card. He actually said, hey, guys, I've done all this work, weight cut, blah, blah, blah. Give me somebody. So if Dude didn't step up and take the fight, Cormier wasn't going to give him a fight. Granted, all the trash talk, he made me cry, he wiped my butt, this, that, and the other. Show him a little respect and at least say, thanks for stepping in. All right, moving right along. Main event. Again, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. Just thinking about it, I'm so not pleased with Herb Dean's performance. Again, and I don't want to knock him. He's the ref. He's in there. He's the one doing the job. But she was defending herself. She was trying to work her way back up to her feet. So here's my thought, Herbie. Either get in there quicker and stop the fight at a moment where it actually needs to be stopped, or once you're too late and the fighter's recovered and working their way back up, you got to step back, dude. I mean, you got to be better than that, especially in a title fight when, you think about it. This might have been Sara McMann's only opportunity. She might not ever get another title shot. You never know what's going to happen. People get injured. Dana White, puts you on the blacklist. Who knows what's going to happen? There's no guarantee that this girl's going to get another title shot, and that's how you chose to end her opportunity. I just think it's Herbie. I think you could have done better. Now, with that being said, the one thing actually I really got out of this fight is Ronda's chin is actually improving. The first time Ronda Rousey fought Maia, Tate hit her in the face and literally had Ronda running across the cage. She did not like that. Tonight, she ate punches and had absolutely no problem with it. She ate punches and went back in for more. To me, that's showing the evolution of Ronda as not only a fighter, but a true mixed martial arts competitor, that she wants to get in there and get nasty and do what it takes to win. And tonight she did that. She ate some tough shots from a girl who hits very, very hard. And again, she did what it took to get the victory. Do I think that the fight should have been stopped there? Absolutely not. But again, I thought it was a good showing for Ronda. I don't know who in the UFC is going to be able to take her. I know Kat Zingano's up next if she can heal up, and obviously all of our hearts go out to her with everything that she's going through. But even the best Kat Zingano, I don't think can deal with Ronda. I think we need to see the Chris Cyborg fight. I think that's the only one that's really going to solidify Ronda as truly being the best. Justin, get in there. Jason, follow him up.
Just real quick on Herb Dean. This stoppage, I think it was a little quick, but I wouldn't go as far to call it as a bad stoppage, because when he made the decision to react is when that knee hit that liver and she keeled over and grabbed her gut. And we've seen so many people get dropped with body shots like that and they step in. But it's like you said, if he got there a split second earlier, we might not be calling foul play. And I don't think if he got there 2 seconds later, we would have seen a different outcome. But I think it's just consistent with what we've seen from him lately, which makes it even worse. And I do just want to make another note that, man, they should have thrown in the towel if he wasn't going to stop that Mike Powell fight earlier. Like, that was making me a little uncomfortable for a second. And I'm a guy who loves violence.
Okay, well, hold on a second, Justin. You're justifying the stoppage of that, but yet you're not criticizing him for Herb Dean letting Mike Pyle nearly beat Wahlberg.
I just said that. I literally just said that. I literally just said I said if Herb wasn't going to step in, they should have thrown in the towel.
Well, he did it.
I literally just gave him crap for that, man. Open your ears. That's the second time tonight you misunderstood what I said when you thought they didn't give out Fight of the Night bonus.
That was on that doesn't count. That was on Twitter, so that doesn't count. That wasn't on here. But seriously, I mean, he's been all over the damn place with his stoppages. What? Because he was.
I know. I'm just saying that
because he has a
Ronda's stoppage looks worse because he's been bad lately. If
okay, well,
look at it like this. It wouldn't look as bad.
Would you think it was a bad stoppage if the roles were flipped?
Probably not.
You want it? You wouldn't give the champion
if McMahon had hit Ronda, over?
Yeah, and Ronda fell like that. If you were the referee, would you give Ronda a chance to recover with her being the champion, or would you step in immediately and say, nope, done?
That shouldn't matter who's the champion and who's not, though, for the ref.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
so if he sees a fighter,
I have to agree. If the fight's over, the fight's over. It doesn't matter who's the champion, who's the challenger, who's 10-0 and who's 0-10. If you go down because the fight's done, the ref needs to step in there and stop it. Nothing else should matter. I mean, I'm a firm believer you have to beat the champ to be the champ. But again, the champ shouldn't get special privileges. I mean, if the champ taps out, the champ taps. I mean, they shouldn't have to do it twice. If you knock the champ out or the champ's not intelligently defending themselves, it shouldn't matter. As a ref, you're supposed to be impartial, unbiased, get in there, stop the fight because the fight is over. And just to clarify, like what Justin pointed out, clearly what I was saying is had he gotten there a split second earlier, no one's even saying anything because she was still, keeled over. But by the time he got there to stop the fight, she was already back, intelligently defending herself and working her way up. At that point in time, with the wind knocked out of her and the fact that she couldn't breathe, do I think that the fight would have ended any differently? No, I think at that point in time, Ronda would have hip tossed her and armbarred her, and that would have been it. But again, at that point in time, we have a clear-cut winner. Right now, Herb just, again, compound it with what he's done just this year alone. Just in 2014, he's not having a good year. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So whatever it is.
Isn't that bad of a stoppage, but it looks so much worse because it was him, and he's had these bad stoppages. But the thing is, when you let a fight go too long, other people can stop the fight. So that's dual criticism, and not only Herb for not stopping that pile fight, but on the corner for not doing something about it.
Exactly, because look when Josh Thompson was just beating the crap out of Nate Diaz. Nick threw in the towel. Nick knew the fight was over, and that's your job as the cornerman. I mean, obviously, we always want to see our guys win, but dude, when your dude's getting his ass whooped, I mean, for me, every time I corner someone, that's my buddy in there, and when he's getting his ass whooped, I'm going to protect him from himself because he's going to take the ass whooping until the final bell dings. But when it's not his night, when the fight's over and all that's keeping it going is pride, throw in the towel. Be a good teammate, be a good friend, throw in the towel. There's no need to have 7-10 years taken off of your memory for pride. It doesn't make sense to me. All right, Jason, give us your thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, number one, I'm shocked it didn't end by armbar, or if it did, that was the weirdest armbar I've ever seen. But I really liked Ronda's really aggressive approach. She went in there, and like you said, when she fought Tate, she got tagged, she would run. This time, I mean, she was just running in. She was looking to make it a dogfight. She was looking to make it dirty. I think partially because she knew that if it went on the ground, that she may have troubles with the caliber grappler that McMahon is. But I mean, I gotta give her props. I mean, she went in there, did her thing. Whether I agree with the stoppage, I don't agree with the stoppage. At this point, it doesn't matter. I gotta give her props for defending her belt again, and walking out there with the W. Now, I'm not even going to get into the decision things. Me and Justin already had our lovers bad about that, so I'll leave it alone.
I just wanted to do that to you at some point tonight. I'll say this.
I love you too, Justin.
She's going to destroy Kat. She's going to destroy Alexis Davis, and then she's going to retire and go make movies as the 5-time defending undefeated UFC bantamweight champion. And you know what? Maybe she never fights Cyborg. Doesn't matter because she's going to retire with a nice fat paycheck at 30 years old.
And Cyborg was there tonight. Remember that.
See, and I have to disagree. With Cyborg being under the Invicta banner right now, and basically the Invicta is the feeder league for the UFC as far as female MMA goes. Ronda's a competitor, and at the end of the day, she certainly wants her legacy in the sport. And regardless of what Dana White wants to tell her, I think deep down inside, Ronda knows that she's backed away from the fight for so long, especially now that Cyborg has publicly stated that she's dropping to 35, but she's coming for Ronda can't run from this fight forever. If she retires without ever taking this fight, no, everyone will always knock her as being, the Cyborg Dodger. She's a competitor. She is going to take this fight. We are going to see this fight before she retires. Now, she wins that fight, there's no question she's retiring and making movies. If she loses that fight, I still think she's going to retire and make movies. But like I just said, she's a competitor, and I don't know that she can end her career on that loss. But who knows?
Cyborg's got to not only fight at bantamweight, but she has to make that weight clean, you know? So, and I don't just mean as far as popping clean, but I mean as far as like no 136.5, no like almost making it and then getting a title shot. No, she's got to legitimately make 135, 1 pound brace in order to even justify that fight. None of this, well, I'm going to cut for the title shot. No. I want to see Cyborg fight at 135 pounds first. Then we can talk about her fighting Ronda, and then we can talk about who's dodging who. But until that happens, I mean, I don't see her really being a factor. I think it's still talk. This is like Fedor Couture.
Now, at one point,
hold on, Jason. Okay. First off, I don't think there's any question who's dodging who. The fight was originally supposed to happen at 145 pounds. Had Cyborg not got popped for steroids, the fight would have happened at 145 pounds because Strikeforce wouldn't have allowed Ronda to weasel down to the 135-pound title shot. So there's no question who's dodging who. And Ronda never once said this fight had to be at 135 pounds before Dana told her it had to be at 135 pounds. And I think Dana did that because at the time Dana had doubts. I think that's kind of a different story now. But again, I don't think there's any question. And you take Tito Ortiz out of Chris Cyborg's management picture, I don't ever really think there was an issue that Cyborg could make 135 pounds. I think she could always make it. I think it was Tito telling her that she didn't want to, this, that, and the other. But, again, Cyborg's a fighter. She made it very clear that she would fight Ronda Rousey at any weight. So I agree, though, Justin. I do want to see her make 130. If that's the agreed upon weight, great. I want to see you make it at least one fight prior because, again, I don't want any of this other nonsense because we're only going to – what I have learned throughout the history of all MMA, if we get this fight, we're only going to get it one time. It's just like they could never make Fedor Couture. They could never make Fedor Lesnar. They could, John Jones, Anderson Silva. There are so many great fights that we've missed out on because of stupid crap. We're only going to get one opportunity at this, so I want to make sure nothing screws it up. So I agree with Justin, make the weight a couple times first. Sorry to cut you off, Jason.
Oh, no, you're fine. But I do want to throw one more fight in there, even though it's not an MMA fight, but Mayweather-Pacquiao, just saying.
Yeah, there you go. Another one,
That's a perfect example of the whole I'm my own promoter thinking you're going to make fights happen. Yeah. They can't make fights happen any easier in boxing than they can in the UFC.
But anyway, the thing I was going to jump in with is I remember during that whole Strikeforce debacle thingy, wasn't there something that Cyborg was saying that her doctor said that she couldn't safely make it to 135, or was that Tito Ortiz just feeding shit in her ear?
That's, again, she said that she wanted to get pregnant and have kids. That was a Tito Ortiz freaking marketing scandal. That's all that was. While Cyborg is huge, there's no question about it. She can get down to 135. First off, it's just a simple diet change, laying off the steroids, taking off a little of that excess muscle weight. Because again, if you've looked at Cyborg, I mean, that girl is shredded. She is a freaking rock. Take some of that muscle weight off. Lose 5 pounds of muscle, and you can easily make the 135-pound weight. How do you lose the 5 pounds of muscle? Well, quit juicing. That's pretty much that simple. So. I do think that we're going to see this fight happen. I do think that it's really, for Ronda, it's the only fight that makes sense. Well, Justin brought up Alexis Davis, and her and Jessica Eye, that was an excellent fight. A great way to close out the prelim card. But let's be honest, you could take the best attributes of Jessica Eye, and you can take the best attributes of Alexis Davis, and you can create, a fighter between the two of them, and it's still not going to be good enough to beat Ronda Rousey. And while I love Kat Zingano, I mean, Kat and I go way back. She's, lives literally right down the street from where I'm at right now. I just don't, especially not now, I don't see her winning that fight. She hasn't fought in so long. You can't take that much time off. You can't suffer the horrific knee injury that she suffered. You can't suffer the personal loss that she suffered and then get back in the octagon and think that you're going to compete at the best that you ever have. And that's what she needs to do to win this fight. So, honestly, if I'm Kat, right now I'm no longer even thinking title shot. I'm thinking give me a tune-up fight, a warm-up fight before I even do something like that. So, I really think that the UFC is kind of running low on competition for Ronda. So, maybe it is Alexis Davis next. Who knows?
I don't think Alexis Davis on her best day has a chance. But here's the thing: only two women have 3 wins inside the UFC. And she's ranked what, number 3? And I'd say she goes to number 2 after this.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. You're not going to do rank her below Miesha Tate, who's 0-2 in the UFC. And then
No, yeah, absolutely, you can't do that. And no, again, as far as if I'm Sean Shelby, the one who does the matchmaking for these fights, these are the questions I'm asking, and honestly, unless they pull Cyborg right now, which isn't going to happen, but unless they do that, I think it has to be Alexis Davis. But again, no offense, Alexis, I love you, but that's a first-round armbar. Jason, give us your final thoughts.
The card over-delivered, in my opinion, for what I thought it was going to be. I mean, we all know what was going to happen in the Daniel Cormier fight. That was a surprise to nobody. I was surprised to see Rousey win by TKO. I think that was definitely the highlight of the night. And other than that, I think Herb Dean needs to be drug tested. That's my thoughts.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah.
Give us your final thoughts.
Standout fighter, Stephen Thompson. Oh shit moment, Mike Pyle. The McDonald Maia fight didn't really raise my rating because I was looking forward to this fight the most out of every fight on the card. So that just met my personal expectations. Cormier, thanks for doing what you were supposed to do. I mean, I don't think he should get any performance bonus because you knocking him out in a minute 19 seconds is expected as much as you were expected to make weight for this fight. You did what you were paid to do. You paid to show up and knock this guy out. And I would otherwise be stoked for that TKO finish if it wasn't slightly tainted. And I think that's what sucks about it. But you know what? By the time she's fighting the next opponent, no one's going to care.
No one's going to care by next week, dude. It's MMA.
Yep, and that's the thing.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
And Sara McMann will care, and no disrespect to Sara, because obviously she will care, and her family and friends in camp. But other than that, you're right. No one cares. Casual, even the mainstream MMA fan, once the next fight is announced, no one's going to care. And when they look,
Phil the Weidman,
No. And when Ronda Rousey has her next fight, and Joe Rogan's talking about her last fight with Sara McMann, he's not going to bring up the fact that Herb Dean, might have stopped it early. He's going to say that Sara McMann got whooped, that Ronda went in there and handled her and beat the crap out of her, and that's how the fight's going to be remembered. So it is what it is. My overall thoughts on the card, I thought it was a great card. Was it worth my $60? Probably not. Losing Rashad Evans and replacing him with Patrick Cummins really hurt the marketability of this fight card. It really did. But the overall performance of the fighters on the main card was excellent. Everybody brought it. I have to agree with your bonuses, Justin. I think those are pretty much spot on. I do want to see what Daniel Cormier can do in light heavyweight division. This fight showed me absolutely nothing. He beat up a can. Great. So kudos to that. Good job to Ronda. She went in there, regardless of whether Herb stopped it early or not. At that point in time, she had pretty much won the fight, because even if Sara got back up, being winded the way she was, I don't see anything changing. So I thought it was an excellent night. I am looking forward to next weekend. We have the Tough China finale and main evented by John Hathaway and Don Young Kim. So I certainly think that's going to be exciting. That's going to be on Fight Pass. We will be back the following week, Thursday night, breaking down UFC Fight Night. What is it? I think that's 37. Gustafsson versus Manawa. And then Saturday, March 8th, we will actually break down, do a video recap. So final thoughts, guys. Justin, what do you got?
Pow pow!
Jason, give it to us.
Okay, I got 2 shout-outs. 1, I give shout-outs to my boy for popping my finger back into place. And 2, shout-out to Buckle Up Tattoo in Branson, Missouri.
Ooh, Jason Schielke.
Yeah, exactly. Boo, Jason Schielke. All right, guys. As always, these episodes are brought to you by Battle Bomb, the only pain reliever with knockout power. Definitely check them out. www.battlebomb.com. I use this product myself. Woohoo! It is excellent. Definitely make sure that you guys use it. You don't need to be a fighter. If you work construction and your muscles get tired, joints get stiff, whatever, have your lady coach you in some of this stuff. It is excellent. Again, audio is brought to you by Soul. Performance, clarity, comfort. They are excellent pieces of equipment. All right, guys. Till next time, I'm Josh Davis for Jason, for Justin. Peace.